In its very simplest form, sending data from one script to another can be done in HTML with a query string. We do this by appending the value onto the href statement like this. The value, string value, has a name, var name, and is sent to the script output.php when we click on the word send in this script. Notice that the URL is separated from the query string component with a question mark, followed by variable name equals string value. In the script output.php, we collect the query string with the $_get construct of PHP. In the form, variable name username equals $_get query string name enclosed in double quotes and brackets. The variable name username will now have the value, string value, that was passed in the query string. Let's now do this for real. Remember, we'll be passing data from one script to another, so that tells you that we'll need two scripts. So for the first one, open up the examplets snippets, forms, two-page template, and the form snippet. And this is going to form the basis of our form script, the script that we're going to be passing the data from. We're going to call this two-page model form.php. So copy the name and save it, but in a new folder. Create the folder forms, paste the name into the forms folder of htdocs, and save it. Similarly, in a new pane, so open a new code pane, open the snippet output, which is going to be the other script. Again, it has nothing in the connection trap. Copy the name and save this in the folder, once again, forms. Notice in this script, I've put in a href reference here to the two-page model form so we can easily click on it to go back to the original form. Now let's look at a very simple example of using get. Making sure you're in two-page model form, we can collapse the connection string and the header. And in the connection trap, put in query string 0. This simply says echo to two-page model output. Yep, that's this one here. With the query string username equals infinite. And the label is send username. So now save that. Go to the forms folder of localhost, and you should see both the scripts that we've created, and click on two-page model form. And yes, it is as we expected. There is a link here labeled send username. We won't use it just yet. We'll go back to our script, and on the two-page model output script, collapse the connection script, and inside the connection trap, paste the string get 0. You can see that these are paired up. We've got examples here, query string 0, get 0, query string 1, get 1, and so on. But into this one, this is the output part of the two-page model, paste the get 0. And this simply says declare a variable username equals, here it is, $_get username, and that must be exactly the same, case sensitive, as that part of the query string. So we declare the variable and then echo the username we sent was username. So let's save that. We know that clicking on this link will take us to the second script, and it tells us the username sent was infinite. And this is why I've set the go back link here so we can easily go back to the first form. Now let's look at a slightly more complicated example. Again, on the model form, delete the first example and paste in query string 1. In this case, I've put in a variable get value equals tmit space world space limited, and I've now got an href with a query string question mark company name equals this value. Let's save that and paste inside the connection trap the corresponding get1 script. And this says set company name, the variable name in PHP, equal to the get query string variable company name. And once again, this company name has to be the same as this company name, set the variable, and it echoes simply the name sent was company name. Save that and refresh the browser so that it says send company name and see what happens. It says the name sent was TMIT. Let's look at the code. But the name sent wasn't TMIT. It was TMIT World Limited. When we have spaces, we have to put in the hexadecimal code for a space, %20, because the query string will be truncated where it finds a space. Now, if we save that, go back and try again, we get the full variable value that was sent from our form. TMIT space world space limited. Very frequently, we need to be able to use more than one query string, so we'll quickly have a look at that example. Again, erase from the two-page model form example the script lines between the connection trap and paste in the query string 2. This query string lays out the query string text a little more clearly. The href sends us again to the two-page model output, but at this time we have question mark company name equals. Yes, we can be confident that'll be correct because we've got the %20 in there instead of spaces. But we also want to send another query string called username, and we append that with the ampersand, not another question mark, but the ampersand username equals infinite. This has exactly the same effect as setting out the two variables with the two query strings and echoing the href with the two variables. So in this case, we'll get the send details 1 link from this piece of script and a send details 2 link from this piece of script. Both should have exactly the same effect. Save that, and in the corresponding model output, erase the piece of code in the connection trap and paste the corresponding get2 code so that all the names match up. Username is set to $_get username, company name is set to $_get company name, and then we simply echo the two. Because both these scripts are sending exactly the same variable names and exactly the same data, they should have exactly the same effect. Let's see. Save the model output, go to the browser, go back to the two-page model form, click Send Details 1, and it does. It echoes out the value of both query strings that we set. Go back, Send Details 2, and it has exactly the same effect. That concludes the part on the get construct. Let's move on to other types of data transfer between scripts.